Welcome back to Why Gaming. Today we're going to be looking at Dead Matter. Now if you don't know what this game is, you may have been living under a rock, or you cast it out of your memory because of the giant shitstorm that it actually was when it was first planned to release. Everything went horribly wrong. A quick rundown is they promised the world and delivered next to nothing. I backed the game, I put a good chunk of money in, around about 100 quid. It's not much, but I thought, yep, they're promising a lot, this looks brilliant, and all of the devlogs that they put out looked really good. They had a lot of people fooled, but when it actually came time to play the game, it was nothing like they promised. It was an empty, barren wasteland, and unfortunately, due to a mass amount of NDAs, nobody could actually show anything of it. So now, things have apparently changed, and they are looking at coming into early access. They've recently put up a Dead Matter Steam page, which all of the links are in the description down below, and also released a development vlog, which is called Road to Early Access. Now before this, there was nothing on their channel, other than you being a backer and their private groups. There was nothing for around about 2 years. But if you don't know, Dead Matter is basically a open world survival game where there was talks of being able to do pretty much anything, and the world was your oyster. And like I said, it went pretty wrong, and it turns out when you loaded into a game, you could do nothing. So, well, if they are planning on going to early access, their Steam page does say coming soon, then we shall see. Let's check out this latest development blog and see what they've got to say.
My name is Anton. I'm a community associate here at QI Games, and I will be hosting today's vlog. It's been a minute since we've done one of these. So let me briefly catch you up to speed on what's been going down in 2022. At the beginning of the year, we restructured QI Games in order to achieve our goals.
Now, apparently, there's been a lot of internal issues as well. A vote of no confidence to one of, I think it was like the lead developer or something like that. A guy I watch called Kira TV has covered a lot. He's done a big sort of 40-minute documentary on all of their internal issues that they had, which is very interesting. If you definitely go check out his channel, he's quite a big YouTuber, but he's got a big, very detailed rundown of all the stuff that's been going on in their office. So definitely check that out if you're interested.
For an early access release. Over the past year, we've hired a new team, tackled plenty of technical debt, and begun to mold the gameplay of Dead Matter so it can live up to the initial vision we set out to accomplish. We've hired several industry veterans to lead our company, and their experience has helped us expand our team size as well as ensure that we have a steady production pipeline. With more
Now, apparently, it is getting better. Obviously, it's 2 years, so some people may say it's 2 years too late, but apparently, it is getting a lot better. Now, I jumped in, and it is a little bit better, but it's no way near, not even close to near what they were offering. It's still quite slow, still quite sluggish, and there's not really much to do. So, hopefully that's changing pretty rapidly.
Senior leadership, we've seen a huge boost to QI Games productivity over the last several months. Over that time, we've managed to launch
so many airsoft guns
updates to our backers, with each update bringing drastic changes to Dead Matter, and with the combined pedigree of new and old staff, laid a clearer path to early access. For today's vlog, we're going to focus on where the game is right now and the changes we're making for our next closed alpha update, as well as the scope for our initial early access launch. What you'll see today is the work we're putting in to release a solid initial early access version of Dead Matter. There's a lot to talk about, so let's get into it.
It does seem like they've done a lot more work over the last few months than they have over the last, 3 years. So, I mean, that's good.
We're going to talk about Infected. We're currently working on improving the Infected spawning system and AI systems to increase the level of immersion in Dead Matter. What this means is that Infected should spawn in a way that feels natural in the game world. On top of that, our AI changes should improve other Infected behaviors. For example, when you alert one Infected, they will alert other nearby Infected within a certain radius, causing them to form a horde. This also opens up our Infected behavior so we can start to incorporate different playstyles, like stealth.
And if they can still pull this off, this is going to be an amazing zombie survival game. And not much confidence from a lot of the community, but, you know, everyone deserves a second chance. I completely stand by that with pretty much everything. I think it wouldn't have been such a bad issue if they obviously didn't hide everything so much and, you know, keep things as quiet as they did.
Aside from infected behavior, we've also begun remodeling our infected using Unreal's metahumans. But we're also adding our own custom
They definitely look a hell of a lot better, don't they? I like that.
detailing to give them that undead look. These new infected models are already looking a lot better, and we're excited to expand these models as development progresses.
Oh, hello.
It's not just our infected models getting an upgrade. We've also done the same with our player models. Our initial model set will be limited, but we will expand over the course of development. Moving away from our previous models is another step in the right direction for improving the overall look of Dead Matter. The scope of our initial early access launch is something else we'd like to clarify in this vlog. We've decided to limit the initial size of the map for early access launch.
Of course.
Focus on refining key locations and creating a more interesting and
Is it just me, or is it even skipping in the background?
immersive open world experience. The initial map will focus on the town
For sure
of
it was
Deadman's
there.
Flats, as well as some surrounding locations outside of the town and getting into the mountains. Don't get
See, that would have been great if they'd done that the first time round. Just a smaller area, because the map was massive. It was absolutely insane. I remember first loading in, and it took me 30 minutes or so to actually find the person I was playing with. And we were actually relatively close. It's just the map was so damn big. And I don't know pretty much anything about game development, but that can't help at all, obviously performance-wise, having something so big. And even just running around, there wasn't much there. But even just having this smaller area, just to actually introduce people to the main core mechanics of the game and the main features, I think that's a much smoother road, surely.
Get it wrong, this map is still large, and there will be plenty of things to explore in this slice of the game alone. Also, as development continues after early access launch and after our full launch, we will continue to expand the map in future updates. Another thing I'd like to announce is our composer. We've hired Alexander Brandon to score Dead Matter. We're excited to start implementing these tracks into the game, and we're using some of the music he wrote for Dead Matter in today's vlog. Now, let's take a look at some of the locations that will appear in early access. Keep in mind that all of these locations are in our closed alpha, and therefore still a work in progress. As we highlight a few of these locations, I want to discuss a few of the graphical changes we've made as a team over the past couple of months. First off is the implementation of Lumen, which allows
Even just looking at this video, it does look better than the game in its state. I think the last time I played it was, what, 6 months ago maybe?
for far more dynamic and realistic lighting scenarios.
What is that over there? There's something just floating in the air there.
We have also spent our time creating a volumetric cloud system. And
See, as cool as that is, why is that important? I wouldn't say that that is actually important. There's a lot more that they could focus on to draw players in, old players that left the game and backed it, and new players too, because obviously this was a massive shitstorm. It was everywhere. So many people knew about it, and obviously with all the NDAs and all the stuff that went on in their Discord, and you know, I think clouds, alright, that's cool, but that should be something later, something down the line.
and a retroreflector system that improves the look of roads
Now that's cool.
and other reflective materials. We've also optimized our virtual texturing system, which assists with the amount of memory.
See, little things like the road signs loading into a game and just having a bit of a play and noticing something like that, I think is cool. It's cool, but if it's not there, I'm not going to lose any sleep. I'm not going to think, oh, this is a bad game because the clouds are shit or there's no reflection.
Used to render textures in our open world.
I just want to be able to shoot things.
Improving performance. This combination of technologies is really elevating our game into another level of graphical fidelity.
It does look
It's
good.
helping us achieve our goals for capturing a realistic aesthetic for Dead Matter. Now let's take a quick look at some of the more subtle gameplay changes coming to Dead Matter.
I wish I could show the gameplay, but obviously it is literally locked tight under NDA, and if you show a snippet of it, other than their main people that they allow to show it, then that's it. They take your keys away. So, and I got keys for me and a few friends, so I don't want to lose their keys too. If it was just mine, I would do it.
That our team is currently making. Loot is an important element of any survival game, and we needed to overhaul our looting system to improve the gameplay of Dead Matter. The first thing our team did was redesign
The loot is
containers to
insane.
spawn
There's a
loot
lot
based
in
on
there.
container's location in the game world. So, if you open a drawer in a hunting cabin, it will spawn loot that is relevant for that hunting cabin. Whereas
Brilliant.
a drawer in a townhome will have a different set of loot to draw from. This loot change is based on a dynamic loot volume system. In short, this system allows us to set loot spawning rules for different locations all over the map. Moreover, we can add
So that's cool. I like that. That's a little feature, but it's a really cool feature. It's probably really hard to implement, but something. It's just cool. It's nice to actually go to an area and things in that area make sense when it comes to loot.
additional layers, like differentiating a kitchen and a bathroom within that dynamic loot volume. As a result, we can make loot
Yeah, that's very cool.
but also be much more contextual to the location that you find it on the map. Our team has also worked hard on creating a tier system for loot. This tier system ranks items based on their value. It is important for us to structure the flow of each player's gameplay experience, and having a tier system helps us do that. This works hand in hand with our map design and other gameplay elements, so players get a sense of progression as they play the game. When you first spawn into the world, you're going to typically find lower tier loot. As you continue to explore,
Yeah, makes
you'll come
sense.
across more dangerous locations that will obviously have much better loot. It's a simple concept, but it gives the game an actual sense of momentum as you play through the game for several hours. The last thing I'll share today is the changes we've been making to our medical system. Our team is
That's cool.
dissecting and fixing our medical system to ensure that status effects and damage are properly.
This reminds me of Escape from Tarkov.
Additionally, our team is making sure that these ailments to the player character can be treated with bandages or medicine, and that those items are having an effect on the player. It sounds simple, but what we're going for here is not a system that just works, but one that actually adds to the gameplay experience of Dead Matter. We're striving for a fairly in-depth system here, and we want to ensure that this system is easy to expand in the future and interesting for players during gameplay. We will have more to share with you as this work continues in the future. That's it for this Road to Early Access vlog. I highly encourage you to read our September blog post written by our development team to get a more in-depth breakdown of some of the changes discussed in this vlog. By the way, Dead Matter is available to wishlist on Steam, so please consider hitting that wishlist button so you can be among the first to play the game when it reaches its early access phase. Stay tuned to our blog for more details about Dead Matter's development, and we will return with a new vlog around Closed Alpha 0.10. Thank you for watching. With more senior leadership, we've seen a huge boost to QI Games productivity over the last several months. Over that time, we've managed to launch 3 closed alpha updates to our backers, with each update bringing drastic changes to Dead Matter, and with the combined pedigree of new and old staff, laid a clearer path to early access. For today's vlog, we're going to focus on where the game is right now and the changes we're making for our next closed alpha update, as well as the scope for our initial early access launch. Initial early access version of Dead Matter. There's a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. First, we're going to talk about Infected. We're currently working on improving the Infected spawning system and AI systems to increase the level of immersion in Dead Matter. What this means is that Infected should spawn in a way that feels natural in the game world. On top of that, our AI changes should improve other Infected behaviors. For example,